Hey guys, I'm Juice, and in 2018 I set the unsupported speed record, or FKT, on the Superior Hiking Trail, and today I'm going to give you 5 ways that you can increase your daily mileage on the trail. Now this video may not be for everyone because not everybody wants to hike more miles. Now don't get me wrong, I love slow days where miles aren't an issue and you can just take a casual stroll through the woods, but sometimes you just don't have that luxury. Maybe you only have a certain amount of time off from work and you want to experience as much of the trail as possible. Maybe you have a resupply you need to get to before the post office closes. Maybe there's a great restaurant you're trying to get to and you have to hike more miles than you were expecting to get there. Or maybe you want to create it more as a physical challenge and really just see what you're capable of. There are a lot of reasons to put more miles in a day. Those of you looking to squeeze more miles out of a day, this is for you. The first way to increase the miles you hike in a day is a simple but complicated one at the same time, and that is to lighten your pack. Now I know I can make multiple videos about this, and to be honest, there's already a lot of really great videos out there on how to do this. So for today, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. So how do you lighten your pack? Well, an easy tip, do your research. Things like YouTube, forums, outdoor websites, things like that. Do your research, find out what's working for other people, and try it out yourself. Another tip to lighten your pack is to only bring what you need. Do not pack for your fears. Another way to lighten your pack is to bring higher calorie per ounce food. Typically, you want to shoot for foods that are maybe between 110 to 120 calories per ounce. Things like oatmeal, bars, jerky, chips, peanut butter, ramen, candy bars, couscous. All those things are not exactly the most healthy things in the world, but they are very high in calories per ounce. So you'll be able to eat and be satisfied and not have to bring as much. Now, the second way to increase your daily miles per day is to carry everything you will need throughout the day on the outside of your pack. Now ideally, when you're on the trail, you can reach most of the items you will need throughout the day without taking your pack off. Now I use a fanny pack and a Palante V2, which give me quick access to everything that I'm going to need throughout the day, including both gear and food. Opening up and digging through your pack can be a huge waste of time while you're out on the trail. If you think through everything you're going to need throughout the day and find a convenient spot on your pack on the outside, you'll be much more efficient on the trail and spend much less time trying to find the basic things that you're probably going to need anyway, like a rain jacket, food, toiletries, things you're going to need pretty much every day out on the trail. Now I keep my entire day's food on the outside of my pack so that it's easily accessible. I use a 1-gallon Ziploc bag for each day, which contains all of my meals, all of my snacks, and everything that I'm going to eat throughout the entire day. When I leave for camp in the morning, my breakfast is in my cold soaking jar, and the rest of my food is in the 1-gallon bag that I stick in the fancy bottom pocket that's located right on the bottom side of my Palante V2. Throughout the day, I pull out my food bag while I'm walking and eat my snacks, and a lot of times even my lunch without stopping. For dinner, I typically cold soak my food, which means I do not carry a stove or a way to heat up my meals. So about an hour or two from camp, I'll take the food that I've prepared, I'll dump it in my cold soaking jar, I'll fill it up with water, give it a nice shake, put it back in my bag, and then by the time I get to camp, my food's all ready to eat. I totally understand that cold soaking isn't for everyone, but it is a great way to lighten your pack and ultimately spend more time out on the trail. The things that I know that I need throughout the day, I keep on the outside of my pack. So starting with the main pocket on the outside, I keep my rain jacket, my rain pants, my tarp, because if it starts raining, I can conveniently put it up, or if it's raining when I get to camp, I can set that up quickly before I open up my bag so everything, into all the contents within my pack, stay dry. On the side pocket, I keep my cold soaking jar, my spoon, and then my toiletry kit. On the other pocket, I keep both of my water bottles plus my water filter. And on the fancy bottom underneath, I keep my entire day's food plus my rain mitts. In my fanny pack, I keep things like my phone, flashlight, med kits, squirrel's nut butter for chafing, bug spray, scissors, and a lighter. Now these are the things that I've found that I need throughout the day, but your list might be a little different. The third way to increase your mileage is to limit your stops. Breaks add up. Even if you're only stopping for 5 to 10 minutes at a time, if you do this 4 or 5 times a day, plus you stop to filter water at least 2 to 3 times a day, take an hour for lunch, stop at some great views, and it can literally add up to hours of daylight that you could have been hiking. I'm not advising you to not take breaks. I'm more suggesting that you limit the amount of breaks that you take. It's easy to see a nice log or a conveniently placed bench, but push on. Wait for those great views, that great stream, an awesome place to stop for 5 to 10 minutes, take your shoes off, stretch a little bit, eat some food. Make sure that your stops count. A great way to limit your stops is to not stop to filter water. This alone can take up to an hour or more of your day. You need to take your pack off, find your filter, get your bottles or containers ready, go down to the stream or lake, fill up your bottles with dirty water, filter the dirty water into the clean water bottles, then take everything, pack it all back up, put your pack on, and then get back on the trail. If you do that multiple times per day, you're talking a significant amount of time not hiking. So for me personally, I don't take my pack off and I barely even stop to filter water. What I do is that I utilize a 1 liter dirty water bottle, typically Smart Water or another brand similar, and then I use a Sawyer Micro or a Sawyer Squeeze. So when I get to a lake or stream, I take the water bottle, I fill it up with dirty water, I screw the cap on with my filter at the top, and then I immediately start walking again and I drink on the trail. This significantly reduces the amount of time that it takes to filter water and gives you more time to keep on hiking. Another tip to limit your stops throughout the day, especially when you're hiking in a group, is to not stop every time somebody has to go to the bathroom. If you have the know-how to backpack in the woods, I'm pretty sure you can handle your business on your own. So the whole group can keep moving on. Whoever needed to stop to handle their business can hike a little faster and catch up. This makes the whole group travel a little bit faster and a little bit more efficient. Another tip is to eat while you're walking. I like to eat things like Pro bars with trail butter, jerky, chips, candy bars. Like I mentioned, not the most nutritional things, but they are convenient, they're high in calorie, and you don't really need to stop to eat. Now, like I said, I am not encouraging you to not take breaks. If you're tired or hurt or sore, please stop. Pushing too hard, too long can cause injuries, but if you're feeling good and you think you can make a few less stops throughout the day, I promise you, you will get more miles in and you will hardly even realize it. My fourth way to hike more miles in a day is a pretty simple one, and that's to hike longer. It's easy to sleep in late, have a nice hot breakfast, take your time breaking down camp, relax, but ultimately you hit the trail by 10 or 11 a.m. and a lot of the day could have been spent hiking and really seeing more of what the trail has to offer. It's also nice to get into camp early. Find a nice spot, get in before everybody else gets there, put your feet up to relax. If that's your goal on your vacation, then great. But if you're looking to take advantage of the daylight and see as much as the trail as possible, I suggest get up early. I recommend maybe 5 or 6 a.m. Now, it may be dark when you get up, but by the time you hit the trail, the sun will be coming up, you might get to see a great sunrise, and it'll be a great way to start the day. A tip I've really grown to love is eating breakfast on the trail. Instead of eating in camp, I pack up quickly in the morning, dump some cold water on my oatmeal and breakfast essentials, screw the lid on, throw the rest of my gear on my bag, and hit the trail. This allows me to spend a lot less time in camp, gets the blood pumping and warms me up on those cold mornings, and typically gets me to a great spot like a stream or an overlook to have my breakfast at. Breakfast with a view, pretty tough to beat. Another tip to hike longer is to appreciate night hiking. Night hiking can be a great way to see everything you want during the day and then get more miles in once the sun goes down. It's typically cooler, it's quieter, and can be a really nice time to put your head down and just crank out some miles. My fifth and final way to increase your daily miles is to find the right shoes. Shoes are one of the most important pieces of gear you have in backpacking. If your feet are not happy, the rest of the tips that I just gave you don't matter. The problem is that shoes are a very personal choice. You need to find out what works well for you and not what seems to work for everybody else. Some people like very cushioned shoes, some take more of a minimalist approach. Some people really love trail runners, others want more of a mid that's going to give them more ankle support. Just because a certain shoe works for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work for you. My advice is to go to your local running store or outdoor store, get some great recommendations, try them on, find the ones that are the best fitting, most comfortable shoes, and then take them out and test them. Please do not get a pair of shoes, think they're going to be great because you wore them around your house and they felt awesome. Take them out, put some miles on them, get some hours in them, and then you're going to have a much better idea on how they're going to be on longer days, and you're going to break them in a little bit. So that concludes my 5 ways to hike more miles in a day. They've helped me a ton, and I hope you can find some value in them as well. No matter the mileage you put on though, just get out on the trail and enjoy yourself. I'm Juice. Thanks for tuning in.